how to run Facebook ads for clothing brands in 2025. This video is going to cover every single thing that you need to know to make profitable ads with your clothing brand in 2025 and hit 10K this month with your clothing brand. And in this video, I'm not going to sell you any type of course. This is just complete free value, way too much value. I promise you, this stuff changes very, very quickly. So if you're not implementing this like today in your clothing brand, you're losing out on money. I mean, this strategy very well can take you to 10K a month if you just implement it. But if you wait a month, I mean, it might not be the same, right? And if you're just clicking on this video, I do not expect you to just take my word for it. I mean, it's your first time seeing me, right? You can't just give away that trust for free, and I definitely understand that. So let me go to my Shopify dashboard. I just want to show you guys my dashboard. This may not make you believe me. I mean, that's fine, but at least I want to show you. You can see right here as I quickly refresh, we did 106K from January 1st to January 30th. This was in 2025. This is just a little bit of proof to kind of show you that this ad strategy does work, and it's very, very, very effective. This is no type of course. I'm not selling you anything. I do offer a one-on-one mentorship, and I do run clothing brand ads for other students, but I'm just going to give everything away inside of this video. If you want that mentorship, you can apply for that down below in the YouTube description. But that's enough yapping. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. If you do not already have a Facebook ad account set up, like your pixel, your page, and your ad account, you can go on this video right here. I'll go ahead and pull it. This was the first version of this video that I did in 2024. As you can see, this was about 6 months ago. And in the beginning of this video, we did walk through exactly how to set up a page, Facebook. Everything's the same as last year. So if you don't have your ad account and stuff set up, go check out this video. It's on my YouTube page. But going straight into the Facebook Ads Manager here, again, go to adsmanager.facebook.com. You'll get pulled up straight to this page. You can see this is one of my clothing brands that I manage the ads for. We're going to go ahead and on this, we're going to go ahead and create, okay? So I'm going to briefly explain these 6 right here, just so no one gets confused, okay? So a lot of people try to kind of shortcut the Facebook algorithm, or maybe they think they can trick, the Facebook Ads Manager, or maybe there's hacks and cuts and like shortcuts out there. That stuff doesn't work. From my experience, what has worked the best is just telling Facebook exactly what you want. So if you want sales, you pretty much always go to a campaign objective. Now, going on to this, I love to do manual sales campaign. There is a time and a place for Advantage Plus shopping campaign, and I do use those for things like testing ad creatives, et cetera, et cetera. But most of the time when I'm trying to scale or I'm trying to actually get conversions, I like to get a little bit more manual, go inside of it. We're going to start off in this ad strategy with a manual sales campaign. Now for naming the campaign, this part doesn't matter that much. You can just name yours Fred Sanders ad strategy. But going down on the campaign level, let's quickly check everything looks good. You want to make sure you're on an auction buying type. You want to make sure the campaign objective is on sales. Now, when it comes to Advantage Plus catalog ads, you do not want to run these. These just do not perform well. I've split tested catalog ads versus no catalog ads. And if you don't know what catalog ads look like, let me show you. So this is basically what a catalog ad is it'll put like all your products right below the ad. These just don't perform well because most of the time Facebook tries to get sales and commission from your actual ad and get your customers to buy on actual Facebook shop, which just doesn't have as good of a conversion rate if you just drive it straight to the Shopify page. So I typically always go and turn off Advantage Plus catalog ads. For Advantage campaign budget, I typically always turn this on. So there's this campaign level and then there's this ad set level. Those are 2 different levels on where you can put the budget. I love to put the budget on the campaign level, and you'll see why. Because when I use this ad set level, this is like where I test the interest or the kind of people I want to target. And typically I like to test a lot of people and then tell the campaign budget, hey, pick the best of these people and optimize for that. So if it's too confusing to understand, we'll dive more into it. But for the budget for this campaign daily, we're going to do anywhere between 20 and 40 bucks daily. I'm going to shoot for 25 for this particular campaign right here while we just start. Now, A/B testing, I never recommend you do that. And then audience segment reporting, you can leave all that not defined for right now. Now for the ad set name, we're going to go ahead and type in broad. Now, before you kind of click off the video, let me explain why we do broad. Broad allows the Facebook pixel to optimize, okay? So the pixel is super, super advanced and super smart. So you have to trust it, especially in 2025. You got to understand with things like AI and just how advanced that stuff is going. Facebook collects a lot of data. They use the AI and they target the right people. They want you to come back to their platform and use it again and again. So they're trying to give you the best results. So just let them do that, okay? So if you go in, and typically what I see a lot of strategies they do is they go in and they start putting targeting on it. And if you don't know what targeting is, I'll show you. When you scroll down on the ad set level, you can see, if we switch to original audience here, you can see right here where it says advantage detailed targeting. I see a lot of guys go in and start adding, Supreme clothing or clothing brand or engaged shoppers, stuff like that. Again, if you start over targeting too early, it puts restrictions on that pixel so it cannot optimize. And there's nothing worse than a pixel that's not optimized. You want to optimize your pixel and give it as much room in the beginning so that it can find the people who are actually willing to buy, and then optimize around it and start making and finding its own pocket. So to help you better understand this, let's imagine you were going fishing in a very big pond that was like this. Putting interest on your pixel is like only fishing the small little corner and only fishing that, because you're automatically putting restrictions on the pixel. What we want to do is allow that pixel to, again, have more room. We want it to fish here and then fish here and try to find fish all over the spot. So like if there's no fish here, but there's fish right here, we want the pixel to start fishing here more. Again, putting those interests is just telling the pixel you can only fish here. But once we find fish in the pond, then we can start, doing things like interest and start finding and going into the small little details once the pixel already found the pocket of people that was working, right? And that's when interest really, really starts shining. But for right now, that's not the case. So I typically love to leave all this stuff broad. I don't do any interest testing. So we want to make sure that we're not on website and shop. Make sure we're on website, maximize number of conversions. Make sure you select your data set right here. And then your conversion event, again, do not confuse the pixel. Let it know that you want purchases so it can optimize for that. For the budget and stuff, we're going to optimize this or set this for 12 p.m. the following day. The reason why I do 12 p.m. is because typically at midnight, if I launch my ads, they don't do well. But in the afternoon, they tend to work pretty well, or around noon. So I let it start then. I don't do any budget scheduling or ad spending limits. Again, make sure you switch over to original audience like I did earlier on in the video. On this, again, just like that fishing analogy here, we do not want to put any unnecessary restrictions on the pixel until it kind of finds that pocket of people. And then we can start like finding the smaller little pockets that work even better than the big pocket, right? So again, we don't want to really put any ages restrictions or any gender restrictions unless you know that your product's not going to be bought by, like older people. Okay. So like if I give you an example of this, I'll go to one of my brands here, gotonus.shop. Right here, the target audience for this is more younger generation. It has like reflective stuff. And then, this patchy. So like older people, 65 plus, aren't going to be wearing this. So if like for 100% fact, old people aren't going to wear your stuff, you can kind of drop this down to where you feel like the audience is going to resonate most. So I'll do 18 to 34 because I think like max 34, someone would buy this. Again, for the gender, do not define it. Let the pixel figure out what kind of audience or gender is working best. Okay, and we're going to scroll down here to placements, and this one we are going to change. So we're going to go to Advantage Plus placements, and we're going to switch that over to manual placements. And we're going to basically uncheck everything besides Instagram. And the reason why we do not run anything besides Instagram, well, Audience Network is just any app that Facebook has in its, or Meta has in its platform. So it could be like all these different apps that you do not want to run ads to. Messenger doesn't convert very well. Facebook is kind of tricky because if you're running pre-orders, what they'll do is they'll send an email to your customer a week after they bought, and they'll ask, hey, how did you like your product? Please leave a review. And if too many customers leave like a bad review, they're going to shut down your ad account or just you run into problems, etc. So I tend not to run with Facebook, especially if I'm doing pre-orders, but overall in general, I find a lot more results on Instagram. So we're going to make sure that we have feeds, stories, and reels checked, and then search results. We want to make sure that we have that checked as well. And then we're going to go to next. And then I'm going to show you how I'd set up the ad. So for the ad, again, you kind of want to name it whatever that kind of keeps you organized. So I like to just name mine ad 1 through ad 10, or just like a short description of whatever the picture that I'm running. So like, for instance, if I was running an ad like this, I'd call it like flat lay of Yahweh tan hoodie, and kind of organize it so I know what ads are what without having to actually go in and click on them, so it can keep myself organized. So I'll call that one Yahweh flat lay tan hoodie. Make sure you have your Facebook page connected, your Instagram account connected as well. We're going to go over, we're not going to do a create ad. We're going to go over to use existing post. So the reason why I'm going to use existing post is because I want to get all the traffic that I'm running on ads to also be on my Instagram. We have to also realize that Instagram is a huge social proof. Your customers are going to go on there. They're going to check how many followers you have. They're going to check to see if anyone else bought it. If anyone else is commenting, they want to see the audience you have. And if you don't have that audience like really, really built up, this is a great way. I mean, you can gain a lot of followers by just running ads, and you don't want to lose those followers by running and creating ads. So you want to use existing posts to make sure you're getting all that traction there. So For catalog, again, make sure this is not set up. Your source URL doesn't really matter. Name it the website. For the ad creative here, I'm just going to select a random post here. So I'll move over to the Instagram and we're going to select this one right here. So you can do reels, photos. People ask me all the time, which one works better, reels or photos? The answer is both. Both absolutely crush. You need to make sure that you're doing both. Now for the primary text, do not overcomplicate this. Just literally name it whatever your product is. So if I give you an example like Yahweh hoodie, just name it that. So you want to go over, name it Yahweh hoodie, out now, right? And then for the second line, you can do any kind of discount that you kind of have going on. So like Yahweh hoodie, out now, get 15% off. Or if you don't have any discounts going on, you can literally say like limited time only. So don't overcomplicate the primary text. It's all automatically going to be whatever you captioned it on the Instagram post anyway. Okay, then we're going to scroll down, call to action button. I always love to put shop now here. And then we want to run this directly to the product page and not anything that's not the product page. So I'll go to this one right here. So we're going to run this straight to the product page here. Okay, and we're going to put that product page right there. Shop now, triple check that. Now for the Advantage Plus creatives, I don't know why Facebook even has this as a feature. It's annoying. So what I love to do is I go over here and I turn on all the optimizations and then I like unselect them. So they all unselect. You want to make sure that it has zero selected pretty much. And then just triple check this. Now, if it says your pixel isn't firing or it's not set up yet and it's a brand new pixel, don't worry about it. And we just want to triple check that everything else looks completely correct and everything else looks good. So now that we have our first ad created, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this another 4 all the way up to 10 times. We're going to test all different creatives, all different angles. You know, we'll do reels, we'll do pictures, flat lays, on bodies, etc. What you basically want it to look like, and I'll show you, I'll draw it out here. You want to have one campaign for one product at a time. That campaign is going to be targeting 2 things. It's going to be targeting the broad, and then it's going to be targeting Advantage Plus, which I'll show you how to set up here in a second. And then each of these campaigns here are going to be running, 4 all the way to 12 ads. So we'll have 4 ads for this video right here, and then they'll both look like that. So they'll have four ads. So make sure that your setup looks like this so you're covering as much ground and testing as much as possible. So go over here, click on this, and we're going to go ahead and quickly duplicate this. And all we're going to basically do is swap it out for a different ad, and we're not going to change anything else. We'll leave everything else the same. So I'll just swap it out for the exact same product. That's a different ad, whether it's a picture, reel. Triple check again that everything looks good as you do this. Shop now, make sure that you turn off the enhancements each time these things just pop up. They have a mind of themselves. And again, you want to do this 4 different times with at least 4 creatives. All again, different creatives here. You want to go in, swap, just change out the photo. That's it. Once you have, 4 all the way up to 12 different ads that you're testing, you want to go over to the broad, and now you're going to quickly duplicate this. Okay. And again, we're going to make that Advantage Plus thing that we talked about. So this again is another way to test broad. This one's giving the pixel a little bit more room though to actually go out and optimize. And sometimes this works a bit better than having original audience. So I love to test it. Okay. Again, all this stuff is just about testing. So we'll scroll down here and we'll see where it says use Advantage Plus audience. And we're just going to go ahead and select that. That's the only thing we're going to do. Again, we're going to make sure all the placements, everything else is the same. We're not targeting to Facebook here, only Instagram. Everything else is the same. Again, exactly like this structure right here. We have the campaign level, we have the broad, we have the Advantage Plus, and we have 4 ads on each, or 4 to 12. And everything on the ad level is exactly the same. Okay. Minus the ad copy, everything's exactly the same shop now button, no enhancements. Same thing for this. We're completely broad and we're not targeting anything. And this right here is the strategy of 2025. The strategy is broad. I do not know how long it's going to work, but right now this is absolutely crushing for my clients and myself and my own brands. So we'll go ahead and publish this right here. And now what I'm going to show you next is what you should be looking for. The first couple days that you're running this, what metrics you should be looking at, how to set up your columns, and how to know when to scale and when to turn off your ads. So quickly going over to setting up your ad columns so you know how to actually read these metrics. You want to click on columns here, go to customize columns, and you want to have delivery, budget, amount spent, purchase conversion value, then uncheck all these boxes, purchase ROAS, then uncheck those boxes, add to cart, uncheck all those boxes, cost per result, CTR, CPC, and that's all you want to do. So again, if you don't know how to pull these up, just, go on this search bar and you literally just type in whatever you're trying to get, and then you select it and it'll automatically pop up here and you can organize it here. And if you don't want this to continuously keep refreshing, you go to down here at the bottom left, save as custom preset, and then you just go ahead and save it, whatever you want to name it, and it'll automatically be there every time. So how do you know when to turn off these ads when they're actually spending? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. So first things first, we want to look at the CTR and see what kind of percentage it's giving, right? So if the CTR here is lower than a 4%, and I'll go ahead and show you some active ads so you can see some that we actually turned off here. So first things first, if the CTR is lower than 4%, so that means when you go on to your ad sets and then click on ads, you should see the CTR right here. If that's lower than 4%, like off rip, within like the first $5 to spend, you want to go ahead and turn it off. So you can see right here down here, as we got to like lower CTRs, we'd go in, okay, this is 1.72. We'd go ahead and turn that off. That basically means that not enough people are actually clicking on it. If you show 100 people this ad, a CTR is basically how many of those people click. So if we showed 100, you want at least 4 people to click. Now, if you're getting only like 2 or 1 person to click, it's just too low of a ratio and you're not ever going to be profitable. And it just means your ad creative is kind of boring. You need to go back to the drawing board, make better ads and better creatives, basically. Now, that's what you're going to do if your CTR is lower than 4%. But one of the biggest metrics that I love to look at, and sometimes if my CTR is even like a 3 and I have add to carts, I might still not even turn it off. It depends on the situation. But if you do not get add to carts after at least $20 in spend, I'm cutting it. Like no matter what the CTR, I don't care if it's 8%, I'm going to cut it after $20 in spend if it hasn't got at least 1 add to cart after $20 in spend. Now, it can be a little bit expensive to get an add to cart, which is because it's a lot more purchase intent. So that's why I love to say, let it spend around $20. You know, some people get freaked out like, you know, there's 3 ads that I have to let spend to $20. All it takes is one of those add to carts to actually buy, and then you're profitable. Okay. So let Facebook get at least about $20 in spend before you cut it off for not having add to carts. But if you do this right, you should be able to scale by 20%, budget daily if you're profitable. So if you're getting like very, very good metrics, so I'll show you like one of these ads, the add to cart right here was 4. And then our CTR was 6%. You can see our purchase ROAS was a 22, which meant we only spent $2 in ad spend, but we got a $63 purchase. If you're profitable, you just want to keep scaling this stuff up by 20%. You don't want to jack it up a lot. If you're spending, $20, you don't want to go from 20 to 50 because then Facebook's going to re-optimize everything. You want to spend it by 20%. So like go from 20 to 25 and then 25 to 32 and then 32 to 40. Just 20% incrementally do it every single day as you see it's profitable, and you just keep building that up every single day. Now, if you reach a point where you're at like, $100 and you go to 110 and it's unprofitable, bump it back down to $100 right where you're in that profit zone. And that's kind of the cap. And you kind of restart this process. And that's how you slowly scale and build your way up there. And that's it. That's the full strategy on how to run your Facebook ads for clothing brands in 2025. Again, the best strategy that's working super well for my brands. And like promised, let's go into one of my students' brands who's actually crushing with this. So we'll go to Emotional Apparel right here and I'll show you the inside of his ads right now. So again, we're on his ad sets. And as you guys can see on this broad, I'll show you guys the setup so you guys can see it's the exact same setup that we did. The only difference is he only put 2 creatives because we deleted the other ones and we had a lot and then we deleted and kind of scaled down here. But again, on the broad, everything's super broad. We're not doing any targeting. He did 18 to 28 because his product is streetwear. So it's a lot more for a younger demographic. Like, let's be real, no older person's wearing that. But let's look at the interesting stuff, okay? He spent $500 last month and made back over 4K, okay? And if we go on like a maximum timeline on this exact same strategy here, he spent $1,100 on this ad total and made back almost 12K. So imagine what you can do with the exact same strategy right here. Okay, so just insane. Overall, the highest performing ad right here. Again, broad is the way to go in 2025. Over a 10 ROAS. This stuff will scale you to 10K if done right. If you still need help after you run this, don't feel afraid to reach out. Again, you can apply for my mentorship. Link is in the description. I will go out. We can run your ads for you. I'll show you. We'll walk you through. That's something that I do for a lot of clients. Super experienced in this niche. If you want that help, you can apply for that down below. Other than that, like the video if you got some help and value out of this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.